Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Ms. D Show. My name is Adora Stephanie Wodo, and I'm your host.
The Ms. D Show, your number one companion.
So guys, how have you all been? Today on The Ms. D Show, we're going to be talking about something trending, yes? This is a major topic all around the globe, in Africa, and everywhere in the world actually. It is the rise in divorces in this generation. Guys, key question I would like to ask is, why are there so many divorce cases? Why is there so much divorce in this generation and beyond actually? I've taken the pains of helping you guys do a little bit of research, and I got so many responses. However, I will talk about a few of the ones I think I would say, looking around, have been the reasons I would suggest that divorce cases are on the rise, and a lot of others that people have suggested to me as well. So let's go right into it, okay? I have it all jotted out. So one of the most major reasons for divorce is marrying for the wrong reason. I can't overemphasize this. A lot of people get married for the wrong reasons. You have major reason, which is pressure for women in particular. There's so much pressure on the African woman to get married. I mean, if you're typically African, or I don't know about other African countries, but in Nigeria precisely, you get the whole, oh my God, you're 30 and you're not married? Why? Why are you not married at 30? Oh, you get things like, oh, you must have a spiritual husband, or oh, you must, some people are blocking your destiny. People don't want you to get married. All sorts of hula baloo. So most times it's the pressure. You get aunties saying, oh, look at your friend Nkechi, look at your friend Jacinta, look at your friend Bola. They're all married. They have kids. What are you waiting for? You're getting old though. As the Igbos will say, it is so terrible. So sometimes the pressure from our family, from our friends, from our colleagues, even just the pressure imposed on you by being around your mates, where you see that your friends are all married. Every Saturday you get dressed going for people's weddings, ashwebis, bridesmaid, and never your wedding. You know the case of always the bridesmaid, never the bride? Exactly. That pressure makes people just settle. And it's so bad, because what really happens is when you settle under pressure, you block your eyes from all the red flags. Let me tell you a key thing I've noticed in my little surgeon in this life. A lot of times we tend to see the pressures, we tend to see the red flags in our relationships, but because of the pressure or desperation to tie the knot, most people just go ahead with it. You know, I had a story a few days ago where someone said, oh, that there was this lady who was bit, like literally bit by her fiance 2 days to a traditional wedding. In fact, they were on the road going back to her place for traditional wedding. I think they had a misunderstanding in the car, and he pulled over at the express road, pulled her out and bit her crazy and slammed her head on the wall, on the fence or whatever it was, you know, and she had swollen eyeballs, she had patches on her face, and her mom was like, you know, I don't think this wedding should go on. You can't marry this kind of man. And she said, she has told that she has told people she's getting married. What? Instead, she will marry and divorce the next day, but she must do this wedding because she can't carry the shame of telling people that her wedding was called off. Can you imagine? So the makeup artist had to do her magic. This lady got married, and I think 6 months down the line, the marriage was still over. So a lot of times we do tend to see these red flags, but because of the pressures around, sometimes you even hear aunties and parents and mothers say, just manage. Marriage is not easy. Tell people to tell you the truth. It's not easy anyway. Even your father married to and managing him, even your uncle is... Well, your managing doesn't mean I want to manage, right? So if you're not careful, that pressure really gets to you. And for men too, oh, you're not getting any younger, your mates are married, you don't have children, you need to produce grandkids for us, grandkids. That's all we ever hear. And then you end up marrying someone that you would ordinarily not have married if you had the time. And now another one is age, which is part of the pressure. So age, oh, you're getting older, especially for the women. You hear things like your biological clock is ticking, go and freeze your eggs, and then just the fear of not being able to have kids at an early age, or you don't want to be pushing babies at 40s and 45. You end up with just anybody just so that you say you have kids. In fact, that ties to another one I heard from someone who said that a lot of women now want to just be independent single ladies or independent single mothers. So most of them just get married just to have kids, and to say that they had legitimate kids in the marriage, but then they come out of the marriage after they've had the number of kids they want. it beats me. I don't understand how does that even make any sense. Go get a sperm donor. I mean, and I think that's where the societal pressure comes in, because people would say, oh, how can you have kids out of wedlock? Your child is a bastard, blah, blah, blah. So because of that legitimacy, you go and have a child in a marriage that you don't really want to be in. But once you have the kids, then you come out. Make it make sense, please. Anyway, so there's that. Then there's money, financial benefits. Oh my God, major deal breaker in this part of the world. So a lot of people get married because maybe the girl's family is very wealthy, and we call these the gold diggers. So people just marry someone because, oh, if I marry her, like keys to a bigger world will come for me, financial freedom. People, her father will probably get me a good job, a lovely house in the middle of town, a car, whatnot. So young man has been hustling and suffering since he sees a girl from a wealthy family and he gets married to her. Same thing with women. Oh, they're broke. This guy drives a Range Rover. He lives in Banana Island. He lives in Lekki. He lives in the big boys area. They don't love him, but he has money. Hey, I mean, I've been suffering. Why not? If not, he can pay for my happiness. And then they go into this marriage and end up being punching bags or used for money rituals or you name it. So that's one of the pressures, financial benefits. And then you have family ties. So this is more for like people like in the north or people that do arranged marriages. Sometimes you see northerners, and I'm sorry if I'm, capitalizing this, but I see that more in the north anyway, where some big families want to merge to another big family. So then they just treat their kids like, oh, my son's going to marry your daughter for whatever reasons, and then they get married, and the kids don't even love themselves, they don't even know each other, but because the family say they have to. And mostly with the northern women, they don't really argue about these things. They literally get traded off into the marriage, and lo and behold, down the line, it doesn't work and they're out. Now you also have the most important one, which is back of one of the wrong reasons for marriage, is lack of love. Most times, like I said, all these reasons are tied in when there's actually no love. And one of the following reasons I mentioned previously is the reason you got into a marriage. The foundation is already flawed, and once that's the case, the marriage will never stand the test of time. Obviously, along the line, you guys are going to lose out. And the thing is, when you marry someone that you don't love, it's very easy to get irritated or irritable, because the honest truth is, if I love you so much and we have a fight, I'm going to be boiling and hurting so bad inside that we're not talking, or there's something going on. I want us to make up so we can go back to our happy place. But when you don't really love someone you married, the littlest things irritate you and take you off. And when you guys are in a bad place and you're not talking, you're in a hurry to go out and get a drink, you're hurried to just get out of the house, go sleep with your side chick, whatever, because honestly you don't love this person. So you're not pressured to try and make it work. You're not pressured to end this silent treatment. You're actually pressured to get out of that space. So it's always easy to say, I'm done, I can't do it anymore, I can't take it, because really you don't love them. So you've always been looking for an easy way out. And that's where the tolerance issue comes in. They say that Gen Zs or the generation before the Gen Zs, which is most of our generation, have zero tolerance level. I totally agree. We're always tired. We're always quick to call it quits. I'm done, I can't take it anymore, I don't want it again. Someone once told me that the girls of this generation don't have patience like our mothers. Well, sadly, we don't, unfortunately. And that's also because women have become very aware. There's the whole feminism going on. Women are not willing to take bullshit. I'm sorry, someone said that women are refusing to take BS anymore. So they're like, I'm not taking this, I'm out. So there's a lot of lack of tolerance. And unfortunately, the men aren't even helping either. So when you know that women are not willing to take a lot, men have to sit up and act right. I don't know, in this generation, when a man will say, kitchen is a woman's place, I can't be found in the kitchen. Excuse you, in this generation? And then you expect your woman who probably works like you to go to a 9 to 5 and come back at 6 after the traffic and the long day and still get into the kitchen and sweat for you. Probably you came home early and you don't think you can make her breakfast. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And these are the issues we're talking about. So men are not supportive. Men are still expecting us to pound the yam like our mothers in the days. Women are not willing to take that. And then there's an incompatibility issue. I hear things like, she doesn't respect me. Oh, feminism. Oh, she's trying to drag equality with me in the house. How are you treating her in return? Are you loving her and being there for her? This whole Bible of submission, we need to revisit that terminology and the real definition. A woman lying on the floor for you to step over her is not her being submissive, my darling. It's her being weak and not aware of herself. So men have to sit up and support their wives better for these marriages to work in this generation. They are no longer defined roles. You're in the kitchen, I'm here. Because women are bringing half the bake, if not 80% of the bake in homes right now. So please, if that's becoming the case, there is no I'm the man and you're the woman anymore. A marriage is a partnership. You support one another. that whole days of the man is the head and the woman is the neck. I'm sorry, I'm not of that school of thought. I believe that we're shoulders, and you know, we're supposed to balance each other out. Yes, quote me on that. That's my analogy. It doesn't have to be yours. Another one is, oh, this one, I got this a lot. Unrealistic expectations from both parties. So most women, we watch social media. That's another point. Social media influence you, and you just expect so much. Oh, my fiance or my husband is gonna buy me a car, he's gonna get me a Range Rover, he's gonna this, he's gonna that, he's gonna that. Things that are not honestly realistic in marriages. And then we go into these things and newsflash, you don't get all those things you're dreaming of, and then you get frustrated. Likewise, the other way, men expect too much. Oh, she's going to this, she's going to start. Before, you used to eat takeouts, you used to microwave food, you used to, now I don't eat microwaved food. She has to make my food fresh every day. I can't be eating leftover. Excuse you, before you got married, how will you eat it? So all these pressures on people. Oh, my wife can't dress like this, you're too revealing. Why is your breast out? You're a married woman. Da, da, da. How did you meet her? How was she dressing when you asked her out? Was she that type? Why are you trying to stop her? You know, people need to have this real conversations. What is our life going to be like after marriage? What are your do's and don'ts? Can I deal with it? What are my deal breakers? What are you doing I don't like? And am I willing to change that? And what are you doing that I don't like? And are you willing to change it? And can I see changes before we even say I do? These are real life conversations that people do not have. So expectations are unrealistic, and people need to become more realistic by having honest conversations and not assumptions. Economic pressures, like I said. So this one is different actually. This economic pressure is mostly the inability for the men to meet up with their financial responsibilities. And so, man, I can't blame them. The economy is becoming so difficult, which is what pisses me off when men say that, oh, I cannot be in a partnership. How much do you have? How much are you really earning in this society that you don't want a woman who brings half the bacon? And if she does, then you don't want to say, well, I'm still the head. Yes, you're still the head, but the truth is she's a supportive partner. If you don't want her to be supportive, bring 100% of the bacon, which we know is almost impossible, if not very hard in this generation. So most men who can't meet up, the wives become disrespectful, complacent, ununderstanding, and the men just get frustrated, and sometimes men don't know how to handle their emotions, and then they start taking it out on the home and on the wives, and hey, sometimes leads to domestic violence, sometimes leads to breaking marriages. So that's another one. Ego. Oh my God, I love this topic, and I wish I can have a 2-hour conversation about this. Ego and superiority complex in men in particular. Some women are having that now, but a lot more for men. So many men feel like, I'm the man, like I just said, I'm the head, and you cannot tell me this. I married you. You're supposed to be a woman. You're an African woman. You cannot be rubbing shoulders with me. Uncle, relax, be calming down. Honestly speaking, ego is a big deal in the society. I've heard so many marriages, I've seen so many relationships, so many couples talk about how oh, I'm not talking to my partner, he's not talking to me, we're not talking to each other. Why? Because she's not willing to apologize. Why? Because he spoke to me wrongly and he's acting like I should come and meet him. Nobody wants to calm down. The man is not willing to calm down because he wants to teach the woman a lesson and put her in her place. The woman is not willing to go and apologize or make up because what? He doesn't respect me. He must come and respect me. He must beg me. He must show me that I'm valued. We used to do those things as boyfriend and girlfriend. Once you don't marry, you don't marry. I'm not saying you should take bullshit. I'm not saying you should not set your standards and boundaries. What I'm saying is drop the ego in the kitchen. When you hurt your woman, uncle, go and apologize. When you don't even think you hurt her and you feel you're justified by action, the fact is that if she feels hurt, try and make amends. There are subtle ways of, see, women, let me tell you, men, we love sorry. We love baby, I didn't mean to do it. I'm telling you, there are magic words to these things. Even if you feel justified, for peace to reign, apologize. Sweet talk her, baby, please, I didn't mean it like this. I was only trying to, when people are in a good mood, for some people I hear great sex changes a lot of things. Have what you need to have, treat her right, and when people are in good terms, say, well, baby, you know, say that thing we did yesterday, you know, try. You know, and there are ways that she would be more receptive to constructive criticism than when everybody is hot and I'm screaming and you're screaming and everybody's trying to prove a point. It doesn't always work out like that. So please, this ego thing, and this goes both ways. A lot of women too do that. I'm not going to call him, I'm not going to reach out to him. At the end of the day, there's a breaking point, and there's a point where we get to that. It's time to reach out and actually talk things through, especially when you're married. But then again, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. If you really love your partner, you would do that without being pressured. But when you marry for the wrong reason and you don't really love them, you don't even see the need to walk things through, and that's where divorce comes in. I've talked about feminism as well. That's a craze right now. Women are all trying to be all equals and men are not having it, and hey, it's costing a lot. Lack of fear of God. I cannot overemphasize that. So many men nowadays do not have the fear of God, and likewise women. People go to church for Sunday medicine. People do not really know what it means to have God in the center of your marriage, or even the fear of God in your life and in your home. And a lot of them who don't have this lead to do so many things that cause a break in trust and a break in your marriage. One particular thing is infidelity. When you have fear of God, you will not go and cheat on your wife. You will not hurt your wife. You will not keep secrets from your wife or your husband. You will not be building a house as a woman somewhere else and your husband doesn't know. Man too, you will not be keeping kids outside and other things that your woman does not know about. You will not be running businesses that your wife doesn't know about. You will not use your home savings for your children and not tell your wife about it. So secrecy and hiding things from one another and infidelity are all issues that come when you do not have the fear of God in you. So you don't have a solid foundation. When one party finds out, rocky grounds. Once trust is gone in a relationship, everything is gone. Violence. This is the reigning trend now. Violence, domestic violence. Men are turning women into punching bags. And like someone said, women are no longer taking BS. Once it gets to the turning point, women leave. And the women that don't leave automatically get a lot of people advice, neither the churches, your neighbors, your society, everyone is encouraging a woman. Once he hits you, pack your bag and go. Pack your bag and go. Unfortunately, some of them that don't listen to this advice or claim that they like the makeup sex or whatever it is the man is doing to convince them after battering them, stay and lose their life. So it's either you get divorced or you die. It's one of the two. The violence is becoming crazy, and I'm not a supporter of violence. If you are being beaten or disrespected in a violent way, please leave. We don't mind that kind of divorce. Blurred lines of what marriage is supposed to be. Yes, the sacrament of marriage and institution of marriage has become completely abused and degenerated to what I don't know anymore. We've lost our value systems, we've lost our morals. Our parents, I don't know what work they've done. The generation now have no values. I don't think they even understand the importance of what it means. And I can also relate this to, like I said, social media era. Everybody's watching social media and expecting the hula baloo. The people are just looking at what other people are posting, fake it till make it. Some people fake it and look it. At the end of the day, you're looking at someone else on social media and thinking, oh my God, I want to be like this. And then you start comparing your spouse to other people's spouses or people on social media that you don't even know what's happening in their own homes. And at the end of the day, that brings a lot of stress on your partner, and then it leads to a breakdown in your relationship and subsequently a divorce. So social media, we need to be careful what we take from social media. Another part of social media I'll bring up is the glam. A lot of people want to get married just so that their wedding will trend on social media. People take loans for their wedding. People borrow money. People want to wear dresses of 5 million when they cannot even earn that. Also, it will trend on social media. And what, 6 months down the line, the marriage is over. So many people are more interested in the wedding day than the actual marriage after the wedding. And that's a big problem. And once the real marriage starts, the foundation can't hold, and divorce. You have the rise in course of, I've said that in case of the domestic violence. I've talked about the influence of social media. Plenty of people obviously want to marry for the glamour and are not ready for the realities of the relationship or marriage itself. We mentioned that. There's also interference from friends and family. This is very key as well. If you marry someone who is not confident in themselves or do not know who they are and what they stand for, they will fall for anything and everything. People will come, so you used to even help your wife cook. For what now? Why would they help woman cook? She'll stumble over, she'll stumble over you, she'll walk over you, she'll disrespect you, blah, 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 blah. Oh boy, why would they wash your wife's clothes? Oh boy, why would they drive? Same thing with women. Your husband doesn't buy you gifts. On your birthday, he didn't even change your iPhone. My husband changed my iPhone. Blah. All of this. Sisters, why are you allowing your wife to do that? What nonsense. Your wife should not talk to you like that. Or they come to you, why are you talking to my brother like that? Oh, brother, this girl will not respect you. Is it you that married her? Families need to learn to stay out of the marriages to an extent, only to the extent that your partner allows you in or your sibling allows you into the marriage. But ultimately, I think a husband or wife understand each other more than the rest of the family. And if you're willing to take whatever you're willing to take and you will not hear the voice of wisdom, then please let them be. And if you have any advice, most times give it to your sibling and let the wife out of it. If he wants to continue in a bad relationship or a good, it's up to them. But also, ultimately, I say, the partner who is in the marriage should be confident enough in what they are in and stand by what they believe in and not by what people tell them. People will always talk. Take note of that. Whether you do where they talk. If you die, they talk. If you leave, they talk. So live your life. Another thing I'm going to talk about is lack of communication. Very key. I'm a big communicator and I do not like to be kept in the dark. I do not like to be with someone who does not tell me what they're going through. I can't assume. I always tell people I'm not a witch. You can't say, oh, but I should know what I'm doing. How am I supposed to know? Did you tell me? I call you 5 days in a row, you don't pick my calls. I don't know where you are. I have no idea what you're doing. And when you pick, I yell and you say, oh, you're a naga. You don't even know what I've been through. How will I know what you've been through? Did you tell me? People need to learn to speak. People need to learn to talk to one another. This is what I'm going through, babe. I'm going through a rough patch right now. I just need some time out. I need to breathe. Or, babe, this is what I'm dealing with. People need to talk. And when you talk, you can talk through your problems. But when you do that whole silent treatment, I'm not going to talk to him, I won't talk to that, it doesn't help. And like they say, once there's a crack in the wall, the geckos will get in. And the more the geckos are in, the harder it is to fix the wall. So please, the motto I always say is any issue between a man and a woman, husband and wife, partners, try and solve it before you go to bed. Don't sleep on an issue because it only gets worse. Find a middle ground and solve it. If it means using bedmatics to solve your problem, solve it before the next day. Trust me, it solves a lot of problems in the long run. Lack of patience as well. We've talked about this. Tolerance level in this generation is very, very low. People are not patient anymore. I can't take it, I'm done. Every day I'm going to be out of this marriage. I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. We hear this all the time. Why did you go in the first place if you can't even be patient? People need to date well. People don't actually date like before. All we do now is take me for ice cream, take me to the cinema, take me here, go. Are you actually dating? Do you spend quality time with your partner? Do you sleep over? Do you see him snore? Do you see how he leaves his clothes around? Same thing with the woman. Do you go to her home? Do you say, people need to really date before they jump into marriage. All this 2 months, 1 month, 3 months, 5 months. Sometimes you might get lucky, most times you might not. People need to really date in total, understand your partner well, understand the dynamics of his family, how he relates with his external and internal and nuclear family before you jump in, because these things all have a ripple effect if you do not understand what you're going into. We've talked about superiority complex. Now there's inferiority complex. A lot of people marry people that they have complex about their situation. So you're not from a wealthy family as a guy, you marry a girl from a very wealthy family, naturally you really have a complex. I'm not to her, she has a big house, she earns more money, and automatically everything you do, you show your inferiority complex in everything else. Any little thing she does, you complain, not because it's an issue, but because your complex or your ego is being trampled on. If you don't think you can handle the fact that your partner, especially a man marrying a woman, is earning more, or is from a bigger family, or is doing better, don't even get into that marriage in the first place, or that relationship, because it's aimed for doom from the beginning. Everything is always going to be as like blaming her for being better off. You need to work on yourself before you go into that. I don't agree a man marrying a woman who he's not earning as much as, or even better, because yes, sometimes we think we can do it, and most people can, but majority can't, and it leads to a lot of issues in marriages. We've talked about keeping secrets. No one should keep secrets from your partner, because when they come out, you break trust and marriage is over. Lack of support from your spouse, that's another big issue. A lot of men don't support their wives. Once you notice your wife is earning a lot and she can take care of the home, you're like, well, she's earning a lot, she should take care of the home, I'm done, I'm not going to go out of my way to do things. Men have become so complacent. They become as good as house husbands, and because your wife can take charge of a lot of things. And women now, like they say, they don't take BS anymore. Women are very hardworking and industrious. It's no longer the days women just want to take money from men. A lot of men are doing things for themselves now. Once men notice that, they become a bit lazy and relent on their own responsibilities in a home. And when a woman can't take it anymore, she's out. Done. I'm not doing again. We end up hearing the same story of divorce. Some ladies, I hear this one, I don't know how true it is, but they say some ladies just want to have kids. So some ladies want to have kids and don't want to call the kids bastards. They just want to say that they have a kid from a legitimate marriage and from a home. So they marry someone, have as many kids as they want, and they're out, and they want to be independent, single, and have multiple men in their lives as they will. But they just wanted to have a child that they can trace to the lineage of the father. Make it make sense again? Well, potato, your choice, right? And last but not the least is unforgiveness. Unforgiveness. People are not Christians anymore in this generation. I say this all the time. A lot of us are no longer Christians by the word Christianity. We're just Sunday medicine and Christians verbally. If you're a true Christian, and like I've said before, you have the fear of God in your heart and in your mind, you would learn to forgive and forget. Sometimes you might never forget, and I know that forgiveness and forgetting are two different things. Yes, you can remember them, but you can forgive and choose to move on. The amount of hurt you hold in within you is the amount of hurt that affects you. The amount of hurt you hold in within you portrays in your life, your body, your skin, your reactions, your interactions with people. Look, it takes a lot to hold in a lot of hate and bitterness, and it takes very little to glow and be happy. What does it take? Why hold all that grudge? Learn to forgive and move on. Learn to find common grounds and move on. But in that stead, if you can't find common grounds and the forgiveness is not mutual, then it's still okay to leave. So as much as I understand that divorces are inevitable, especially when you have what they call them again, irreconcilable differences, we should try our best to reconcile these differences and see how we can make them work, because a marriage is a union and a sacrament and an institution ordained by God himself, and he doesn't want to see it crash. But please, please, and please, can we all try to do our homeworks, date properly, and be totally sure. We can't be 100%, but please do yourself the honors of being at least 80% sure that this is what I want before you go in. And I repeat, people talk about dropping standards. I am not of that school of thought. If you have a spec, stay to your spec. I hear a lot of men say, I like big women, I like plus size women, and then they go and marry a slim woman. I don't get how you say you love plus size women and your wife is not plus size, and then you're out in the street chasing plus size women. It doesn't add up in my head. I don't see how you say you like slim women and you're there having a side chick who's a plus size woman. The truth is, what you really crave and urge inside of you is what you really want. And if you don't stay true to that wish, and then you settle for something you don't want, you will constantly be running after that thing you want, or constantly be trying to bend your partner to be that thing you want. Meanwhile, you knew they weren't that before you went into it. So please, I know that we're running out of time. I know that everybody wants to be married and have kids and blah, blah, blah. But whatever it is, do not be pressured and do not go under so much pressure to be with the wrong party, to avoid stories that touch, to avoid divorce cases, and just to avoid your mental health breakdown. It's not worth it. On that note, I pray we all find our missing ribs, the true missing ribs ordained by the Lord. And until then, I hope you have a blissful marriage. And for you singles, keep waiting on the Lord, for your time and your turn is right around the corner. Until I come your way again, stay beautiful, love God, and love one another. Thank you, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like, and press the notification button. Until I come your way again, bye, and I love you all.
The mystery.